Hello, I'm Darth Sibius, and with me is the gloriously lovely. What are you rocking at the moment? Your Blood of Azerheim, yes?
Yeah, I'm Blood
Yeah,
of Asaheim and I am Sons of Fenris.
Sons of Fenris, the great space wolf, Mr. Ian. It's a pleasure to have you here because
Thank you very
this is a
much.
man we've been talking to for a while online, and this is the first time getting some face-to-face action. And we're going to be talking about Macragge's Honor, the Horus Heresy, beautiful You Can't Bend It special. Ooh, rub the book because it's lovely. Graphic novel with art from Neil Roberts and the script and everything from Dan Abnett. So, any kind of initial thoughts? The first things you want to kind of throw out there?
It's mind blowing, to be honest. It's just brilliant.
Yeah,
Uh, Such great work.
almost eye-meltingly good. As I say,
Yes.
it almost gives me a headache, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It's that much going on, and it's just ridiculously beautiful. We've got a little picture of the cover here, in all its leather-bound beautifulness. If that's going to come up, there we go. And we've also got the first image we see of Macragge's Honor flying overhead in all its
Yes.
glory on its way to chase the word bearers down and do some of that good stuff. So yeah, basically, we've got after the events of Kauth and the word bearers being very naughty there, and obviously Roboot, or Rowboat, whichever you prefer, having his tete-a-tete as it with Corfeiron and ripping his priming heart out, which is always fun. And then which brings us to Mark 20:24:10, which is when the word bearers are escaping and Root Gittiman's pissed off, asking Macragge to get after him and not bother to come pick him up or do the shopping. And yeah, Mark 20:27:17, off Macragge's Honor goes, and pursuing begins one of the most important, huge void warfare things that's ever happened in the Horus Heresy, which is exciting.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, indeed. So yeah, throw up the picture so we can see that again. So yeah, we got Macragge, and they're shooting off to be taking out the word bearers. The word bearers sent some ships to slow them down. Yeah, we're going to be some spoilers here, but just giving you a bit of an outline of the story before we get excited about the art.
Yeah, I'm doing my best not to say too much because I could just talk about this thing for hours. But
So yeah, they're being slowed down by word bearer ships. They're blowing out of their way. Corfeiron is getting healed with some sorcery, getting a weird sort of chaos iron lung, which is kind of
yeah,
nice. But image of Corfeiron looking rather angry, getting his best. Oh well, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce
that is the exact sound. That is the exact sound.
of the primordial annihilator replacing your heart. And also on the other side we have him looking a bit cocky towards the end, but we'll talk about that a bit later. So he's having that done. That's all very fun. Oh, you want to say, like, while he's having, it'd been nice to have seen what was going on with that.
Yeah, like he just says, he tore out my living heart, bind me with sorcery, but you never see the sorcery. I wanted to see some weird thing going on, ritual or something.
You said something like cutting some cultists over and like bleeding it.
Yeah, like just like bleeding it onto Erebus or something, even more weird than that.
That's something quite
The
nice.
word bearers can do anything and make it a ritual.
This is true. Their life is a ritual. I thought maybe some demonic hands reaching through the warp stroking him better, but you never know.
Giving him a wee loving pat in the head and everything.
So yeah, after he's being healed, the infidus imperator, which like obviously it's been mentioned before, but it's been his name of his ship for a long time, which is basically a giant two fingers to the emperor, ensuring the emperor doesn't keep a check on all these things.
No, I would really think if the Emperor saw that, it's like, look at the ship manifest, infidus, imperator. No, fuck that. No. Rechristen it now.
So yeah, they turn around and face them, and we have a rather epic void battle, which just looks glorious. We see the broadsides here. I've got the big image, of the ships coming together.
This is the big thing with this graphic novel is you don't see void battle enough in 40k, let alone 30k. Now that Battlefleet Gothic's gone, so see that you've got this incredible image of just broadsides happening. Brilliant. This isn't like normal sci-fi warfare. This is proper naval stuff.
and it really is encapsulating the scale and the twisted beauty of it at the same time. And well, speaking of things you don't see very often, we've got the images here of the loading bays, the guys just, or the serfs with the giant munitions.
Yeah.
Always fun, and also what might be my favourite panel in the entire book, which is seeing the boarding ladders and also the siege bridges.
The siege bridges, yeah. You can actually see the masses of Marines running across the bridges before they even extend right the way to the Infamous Imperator. Brilliant.
Glorious thing. Yeah, just hundreds of Ultramarines just out in the void on a giant, effectively, escalator.
It's like the ones that the wee conveyor belts you get at the airports.
Yeah. The conveyor belt of death, which is always fun. So yeah, they're obviously making their way aboard, and then so yeah, they're having their fighting. They get them on board. There's a lot of, they come across some rituals, and suddenly, as the word bearers always like to do, it's demon time.
Yes.
And we're talking a proper Horus Heresy or demon. Like, I love all my demons. I'm heretic to the core, but there's something about these weird, shadowy black things covered in eyes. These are
the Lovecraftian style demons you don't see enough a lot of the time. Just tons of eyes, too many arms, completely pitch black and just terrifying looking.
Yeah, it's a disgusting thing. So essentially, the Ultramarines on the Infinite Imperator have been wiped out, and then the epic demonic deep striking of the word bearers with some demons as well onto Macragge's honor, which is always fun. Cue Marius Gage
having his Samuel L. Jackson moment.
He has had it with these mother flipping demons on his mother flipping ship, and proceeds to. I'm not sure. There does seem to be other people there, but he seems to be the only one.
I think they stand there and watch, just absolutely astounded at Gage just charging the thing. It's like, by all rights, I'd be getting as far back as possible and trying to shoot it, and Gage's like, no, screw it, I'm just going in with a sword.
Mono a mono. Maybe he thought he was a champion of chaos, and he just had that challenge rule that he had to desperately take it on.
He was actually the original Emperor's champion from the Black Templar Codex. Anything massive and monstrous, he had to just attack.
Yeah. Well, and he does it well with the old Havati. It's the old, you've got sharp claws, but mine's even sharper, which is always nice. So you're just melding Warhammer and Game of Thrones slightly a bit there.
Yeah. Oh, come on, we get references from everything in 40k nowadays. I would like to remind you of Roboot's speech to Lorgar, which is basically Liam Neeson talking.
Oh, he has a very particular set of skills.
Yes.
He wrote them down. Oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, basically, the Ultramarines have lost everyone on their ship. They're getting buggered, but they're repelling somewhat.
They've lost their boarding crews. Their ship is now infested with demons, and Gage is very unhappy.
Gage is generally quite an unhappy chap. If he's not Havatting, he is grumpy.
Yeah, he just looks grumpy all the time.
And so with the demons poked in the eye by Mr. Gage, Corfair decides he wants to have a bit of a run again because they're not doing quite so well. So obviously it's time to go into the war.
It's the usual word-bearer sense of pride that, oh, we have the warp on our side, we'll be fine, and they realise, no, we're not, let's leave.
No.
As quickly as possible.
So another reference, the old subtle knife from the Dark Materials comes out, and we split reality and jump through into the warp now. You normally have to plot this. It's a very difficult thing to do if you're a loyalist and don't have chaos on your side. But hey!
The navigator should translate every route and know exactly where they're going, but Gage just forces them to go through the warp rift. They have no idea where they're going to end up.
All the way through. Just, lots of fun. And while in the warp, they do get themselves rather impressively lost.
And this is some of the greatest art in this book of just the voidscapes of the warp, or this warp corrupted place. There's planets melding into each other, moons shaped like skulls. It's just
giant pink gnashing teeth.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, the giant pink gnashing teeth of doom that are just kind of floating about in the background.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. And while in the warp, so Corferon's going to kind of go off to lick his wounds again, preparing himself to try and take them down. This is again the beautiful, wonderful hubris of chaos. Now these guys are lost in the warp. They've not translated. They've got nothing to reference any way up, down, left, right, yesterday from tomorrow.
Yeah, they are just there. They're in a thing. They're basically blind.
So Corferon could just kind of like go, I should probably bugger off, get completely healed, and leave them to get eaten by demons. That'd be fine.
But no, he wants to make Daddy Lorgar happy, make him proud. It's the exact same reason he tried to corrupt Reboot, which is just a dumbass idea.
Hi, most stalwart and stoic and just really honourable of all the people in the Imperium.
Most honourable and solemn Reboot Guilliman, who has created near enough an empire by himself in the name of the Imperium. Fancy corrupting? No, not really.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that.
Sorry, I'll just take your heart for that insult.
It still has another one. Because I wondered, just because Corferon's not a full-on...
No, I was thinking this. Corferon is not a full-on Marine. I'm not sure how far the process goes, but it's much like Luther with the Dark Angels. He's an augmented human almost.
Yeah.
Stupidly augmented, fine. He could have another heart, which is more than probable, seeing as this book came out. Yeah. But I think that does a lot more damage than it would to a Marine.
Definitely, and you gotta love the fact that Luther has a very important kind of. It's the same thing with both of them, isn't it? Both the Lion and Lorgar have essentially got daddy issues.
Yes. Oh, the Lion has more jealousy issues, I suppose, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm
a ex-Dark Angels fan, so I do have a large army of them, and I feel quite bad for how it's going for them in the Horus Heresy right now. But... I think that's something we could talk about another time, but talk for days. Because the Lion it seems. I can't bring myself to read the books. No, he just seems a bit of a crackpot.
Yeah. So as we're kind of getting lost ourselves, the Macragge's are lost in the warp.
Let's just pull ourselves back on the topic now.
While in the warp, what's going to happen? You're obviously drive-by demoning. Just driving through the warp, and then it's a splattering on the windshield of demons.
But that is literally it. It's just they pass through a swarm of flies, but the flies are flesh-eating demons.
And they kind of think they can put the window washers on, but no, that doesn't work, and most of them survive. So we have this beautiful double
incredible art piece of the Ultramarines stepping out into the void or the warp, depending on how this works out. Really, it could just be a massive warp anomaly. They never really say, but stepping out into this area to fight off the demons and pull them off the ship, and it is an absolute bloodbath.
Because this is one of the pictures that, again, really gives you the scale. Because
you
can see...
Much like the picture of Macrage's Honour flying overhead, it gives you the scale shots that 40k is meant to have all the time. It's that whole thing about scale that is the big thing about this universe.
Definitely. But it's also, you're seeing, a part of a section of the top, and just a tiny section of the side, and there's just hundreds of thousands of demons there. And
these Marines in compact groups trying to just move forward, and it's not going well for them.
No, but luckily for them, they do manage to get rid of them with possibly acceptable losses of 88%.
Yes. Fear not, we have a whole 12%, Marine detachment left.
So then Corferon, obviously, again, couldn't just leave the demons to do them. He's sat there chuckling. No, I'm going to do the shark thing. I'm going to go...
Yes, to wait.
No, from side to side. Which is working well.
Yeah, I'm actually imagining Corferon just orbiting around, and him in the bridge, with his fingers crossed like that. Da-da, da-da.
Supposedly that make Marius Gage at the end would be singing "Show Me the Way to Go Home." Oh dear. So they're doing lots of shooting, the things blowing up. Very sad times for the Ultramarines. But one of the most beautiful Ultramarines who ever lived.
Who has ever graced the 40k universe.
Whose name I'm going to say properly because I keep actually forgetting it, but Merceror, as we can see here.
Cataphracti Captain Merceror, who led the boarding parties onto the Imperator with his huge Roman-style helmet. Beautiful, Roman or Greek, I'm not quite sure. But incredible armour, which I'm a huge fan of, just different types of armour and stuff like that. That really got me. And somehow he survived the enactment of the ritual that he tried to stop. And he has a small tracking device on him that all Terminators are built in with, presumably for teleport homers. And he is now giving them the signal where to shoot.
So yeah, where the Macragge is ready to completely blow up, but they're kind of giving it one sort of last go because one more hit is going to wipe them out. So yeah, obviously the most beautiful brother with the
most fabulous,
emotionless face of an angel.
Fabulous yet emotionless helmets ever.
Hey, they decided to what you do with one of your brothers when he's lost on a wordbearer ship is you home in on him and blow the wordbearers to smithereens.
Yes, along with his helmet.
Actually, I think I may have changed my mind. This might be my favourite panel because it's just the way the Macragge's Honor is just flaming.
It is like
you can't really flame
again. Yes, well, I suppose there's oxygen looking at the ship, so you can technically say it's the fires inside the ship or the oxygen looking out. But the Macragge's Honor is absolutely mangled. It's maimed, crippled.
But it also can fire a massive rainbow of death. Oh, and again, the scale is beautiful in this because we can see even in the warp how far away the Infinity is, and just how big these ships are. These cathedrals of space.
These are floating cathedrals. Maybe not as much in 30k times, but certainly after that they do become that.
But it's still got kind of the Gothic thing going on.
Yeah, with the huge eagle on the front of it and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll see that or it's a large blue space penis, which kind of with a golden helm. So Infinite Terminator blown to pieces. Sad times. Corfairon, as we all know, doesn't exist in 40Ks. He's obviously dead. No, because he's a sneaky bastard.
Yes.
And I
he is almost on the level of Erebus in terms of just being that dick that always gets away.
Another quick slash, and yeah, here he is. And you think, okay, so they've been chasing through the warp, and that's a big story going on. That's rather interesting. And oh, he's just escaped. That's a little bit of a letdown. But then he's like, oh yeah, so where are we? Where? Oh, it's just Sycorax.
It's only Sicaris. Fear not.
And it's just I love that. Like, it's not disappointing at all. The whole thing is just a beautiful, wonderful thing.
Oh yes.
But the fact that it's like almost anticlimactic, but then no massive Easter egg.
You still get your little reference Easter egg at the end of it. 40k stuff and 30k stuff really good at doing that. The wee links to the past or the future, and that's a great one.
Yeah, and it brings us to the end with Gage. Yeah, so Corfairon's happily bumbling onto the planet which will become the home of the Wordbearers.
Yes.
And we see the character looking rather sad, lost in the warp, with the warp effectively laughing at it. with
a giant gnashing teeth of doom.
And yeah, that is the story of the Macragge's Honor, and it's just a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. This is something I really want them to bring out on a cheaper release, maybe just a standard graphic novel, because I really think everyone should look at this if they get the chance.
Definitely,
it is incredible.
So I'm just holding up mine here, just to give it a bit of a stroke. Got the lovely cover here with Master Raw fighting a Wordbearer.
Yes.
Lovely leathery goodness. Got the old silver gilt pages.
Presentation-wise, I couldn't hope for anything better. It's gorgeous.
It's a wonderful thing. It
really
is.
It's the perfect presentation for a story that good as well. Really is.
And there is it may sound like a fairly short story, but there is the art and the amount here. We didn't want to be too cheeky and show too much because you're gonna have to kind of get hold of it yourself. And
Games Workshop, we love you. Please don't sue us.
purposes of criticism and review, we're saying how lovely it is. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, it's just the whole package is a wonderful thing, and it's literally an art show with a cracking story as well. Like every panel is a work of art. Not
this actually, I took this into the tattoo place when I got my Space Wolf tattoo done. It was just in my bag at the time, and I just said, "Here, look through this." And even guys, they know nothing about 40k, most of them, and they were looking at this going, "This would not look off up in someone's wall."
Yeah.
Just some of this stuff is proper art pieces.
You get to see there's the picture of the warp just looking ridiculously with the eyes floating. It's just a wonderful.
It's a proper acid trip kind of vision of it.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, it has all the myriad headache colours and wonder and beauty and horribleness that is the warp. With this edition, you've also got some lovely pictures of Mr. Roberts doing his beautiful work and his sketches, and seeing the working of is kind of. I'll show a little bit there. You can see how these pictures become the pictures that you see.
But there's a really good one there, actually, somewhere in there, of the concept design for the demon and Marius charging at it, and it's just a sort of big lump that it was originally, and it's nice to see how that's evolved from that stage.
Totally. Also, the picture of Marius Gage afterwards, and it just says Metal Marine.
Yeah.
Heavy dragons. Also, another thing I hadn't picked up until I actually looked through this. There's a wonderful move through as we see the Macragge at the beginning. Everything is rather blue with a bit of black as we're in system, and then they move out into the void. Everything becomes black. Well, there's a lot of light show around that one, but it is dark there. And then as you move into the warp, everything is kind of red and funky and
everything's
kind of nice.
It's like really it's bright neons and like everything. She's got this really otherworldly look to it, which is absolutely perfect for what they're going for, I think, especially when you're talking about the warp.
Definitely. This is an example of Black Library and Games Workshop getting it right.
Yeah,
this is beautiful.
This is them going, right, we have an idea, and they followed it through exactly the way they wanted it, and it came out perfectly.
And the Warhammer monthly comics were amazing, and it's such a sad thing that they've gone. I've finally completely completed my collection now, and slowly working through them, and they're just. It'd be great to see more of this. Yeah,
I really think this. Well, I hope this opens the floodgates up for more graphic novels to come out from Games Workshop. Or even comics again, something like that would be good.
Exactly, like more Horus Heresy, 40k, or anything. Because the thing is, we're all getting excited about all sorts of things now. There's talks about the rise of Abaddon books, but like I would love Dark Ages technology stuff, and that could be and all sorts of times could be done in comic form. Very interesting stuff. Also, like we said, we had the Tales of Heresy and all the various anthologies. An anthology of short stories that were comics would be incredible.
Even hell, I'd still buy short stories that they've seen the small kind of ebooks they put up on the Black Library website. If they just decided to do a couple of comic strips and then put them into anthology, I'd buy it. That'd be great.
That'd be a fantastic way to. Then it wouldn't have printing. That'd be really good. Like e-comics. Black Library, start doing e-comics. It would be a glorious thing.
Just remember who gave you the idea.
Yeah, we'll await our royalties. But yeah, the whole thing is glorious. Like it was one of the most expensive limited edition things they've done for a while.
Oh dear, and I felt guilty for months after buying it, but
I combined a few Christmas and birthday presents, so I felt. but it's a glorious thing and it's worth it, and it's not like people who got the limited edition are the people that were going to need it there and then. There is the edition that I don't know if we still have a date for it yet, but it was going to be a year or something like that after the initial release of this one, because everyone needs to get their hands on it. Yeah, and it's a glorious thing. Is anything else you sort of want to add before we start? We want to talk about armor. We haven't talked about.
Yes. Greatest thing about this book actually is the fact that you get a huge array of different armour types shown, from even the I believe it was Mark II Crusade armour that had the straight kind of Cyclops style slit, like almost like a Robocop kind of mask going on. You've got knightly style helms, a lot more brutal looking things coming from the word bearers, and obviously Mercerer's armour is just a piece of art. It's brilliant. Seeing sort of the way that the Games Workshop guys picture these guys moving in that armour, especially the Cataphracti charging into the breach, into the Infidus Imperator and stuff like that's great.
Definitely, and like there is so many. I was just showing up some of the Dramatis Personae pictures to give you.
Yeah, that's also a really great bit. Some of the faces of the mortal crewmen are great, and the sort of augmetic stuff they've had to have done to them to use their position. The Navigati Secundus there,
definitely,
with the two kind of tubes going into his eye sockets, brilliant.
Yeah, that is something. It's like those have been stretched up into weird lights. Yeah,
I think it's probably just a case they've removed that and all the area around it and just fitted those devices into his head. Yeah. But it's such a great image.
And there's the other guy with the wires coming out of his head who can't put his Oculus Rift down.
Now, is it the Oculus Rift or is it PlayStation's attempt at the Oculus Rift? That's the question.
This is the question.
What survives in the grim darkness of the 31st millennium?
But this is another thing about this that just shows the level of effort and detail and wonder that's in it. Just the number of marks. Like, it's something that you said. Like, Ultramarines are often seen as being kind of stamped
very
all
generic.
the same.
They've all got standard armour. You know, they just do their thing. But in here you've got the guys that look almost very knightly and regal. And some more just warriors, some with a much more Roman style to them. The plume across the helmet in one of them as well, stuff like that. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's
exactly what you want to see with a graphic novel, especially when you're talking about the Horus Heresy. We've got so much history to cover.
Definitely, you see, they go back to really early marks, and it's just nice because they would be. They're constantly going to be replenishing their numbers as them die. But unless they are blown to bits or die, then
they'll always be. Armour's always going to be salvaged and brought back. That's how it works. Still works like that in the 41st millennium, as far as I know. Actually, more so probably in the 41st millennium.
Exactly, and yeah, unless that's blown to pieces, you're gonna try and put it on and get it on the next guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just from start to finish, it is a beautiful, wonderful thing that really captures the large mythological and just wondrous brutality with beauty that is the Horus Heresy. And yeah, I think if anything last you want to say, and I think we can wrap this up because otherwise we'd just end up fangirling for days. Because
we'd babble. Can I just give a little shout out to? I'm trying to find the page of the Marine. I find his name in the Dramatis Personae. I believe it was Laus Edros who looked at a word bearer who told him to perish for Lorgar, and then subsequently stabbed him in the gut and just said, "You first." Unlimited amounts of respect for that guy.
Definitely, we salute you, sir. Because the Ultramarines are quipping, and it is wonderful. They are highlighting, and it's not in that tweet. It is ridiculously over the top and silly, but that's their personality. It's not in a
that's it. It's just they're just like that. They are the exact archetype of what a Space Marine's meant to be, which means they're over the top.
Exactly.
They're just a ridiculous image.
So yeah, this has been the first the Wolf and the Raven. I am a heretic at the heart, but I support the Ravens, so I can kind of be a Raven. And Ian is the Space Wolf of Space Wolves, as he has just had ink on his body, which is rather awesome. We might be doing a few more reviews and things like this. I am Darth Sebius, darthsebius.com. Find me on Tumblr, all sorts of geekery. Yours again, you Blood of Asaheim.
I am Blood of Asaheim and Sons of Fenris. Follow me or not, it's up to you.
Well, you should, because it's Sons of Fenris. It's your writing. Yeah,
that's the story blog that I really need to update more often. But any short stories to come up with go up on there.
And seriously, this man is far too much. But some of them are just all of them. But all of them are wonderful. But some of them are just wow. So yeah. And we're doing this for Allies Index, which is allysindex.com. It's a place for all things geeky gaming. If you want to get involved, if you want to respond to anything that you've seen that we've done, or you want to show off some models or battle reports, or in any way you want to get involved, just give us a submit or an ask and get involved. And yeah, thank you very much for joining you, and we'll hopefully do something like this again soon.
I hope so.